not game. My profi career, my boxing, is not game. This is very serious business. This is serious business.
It's 7 a.m. in tranquil Big Bear, California. Most of its residents are still tucked in bed, waiting for the chilly fall air to burn off so they can begin their day. But then again, most people aren't weeks away from defending a pair of middleweight boxing titles against a hard-hitting veteran adversary. For 32-year-old Kazakh boxer Gennady Golovkin, it's business as usual. Golovkin, a rising star in the sport, is widely known as soft-spoken and polite outside of the ring, often with a big smile on his face. But inside the ring, Triple G as he's known, is a completely different animal. The heavy-handed fighter is 30-0 as a professional, with 27 fights won by way of knockout. That's the highest knockout percentage in middleweight history. And to make matters more daunting for his opponents, Triple G has never been knocked out or knocked down for that matter, in over 375 fights as a professional or amateur. In 2010, Golovkin was introduced to Abel Sanchez, veteran trainer and owner of the Summit Gym in Big Bear, California. Sanchez is best known for training world champions Terrible Terry Norris and Brother Orlin, as well as the Nigerian Nightmare Samuel Peter, and popular Mexican champion Miguel Angel Gonzalez. Now, 5 weeks into training camp, the familiar patterns of their work together intersect with some changes to the game.
Most training camps, I think, with any big-name fighter, is just a matter of going over the things that you've done in the past and trying to add a couple wrinkles to it so that it fits the guy that you're fighting or improves your fighter for the future big-name fighters that are out there.
This training camp is different because I have a lot of great sparring partner and a little bit more running, more power, just a little bit different, not a lot, just a little bit. A special focus for power.
We've been working hard. We just started sparring last week, so just trying to get ready, man. They're trying to get ready for a big fight in a debut in Southern California against a tough guy.
Golovkin's upcoming opponent is Marco Antonio Rubio, current caretaker of the interim WBC middleweight belt. For the first time, Triple G will be facing a man with as hard-hitting a reputation as he has. Rubio is on a 6-fight winning streak and is 16-1 in his last 17 bouts. In his last fight on April 5th, Rubio knocked out Domenico Spada in the 10th round to claim the WBC middleweight belt, a prize Golovkin aims to unify with his WBA and IBO titles the night of October 18th.
Oh, I know him. He's a great fighter. He's warrior. He has good record, boxing record. I know this is not easy fight for us because we'll have a lot of times, maybe 10 weeks before fight for good performance, preparedness. I think he's a good fighter. I respect him.
I expect Rubio to come out and make himself proud, make his people proud at the beginning. But once Gennady figures out distance, figures out his speed, and figures out his timing, I think it's a matter of chasing him down after the second round and putting him away. I don't think this fight goes past the fourth.
Abel is rightfully confident, as no opponent has gone the distance with Triple G in 6 years. He's a devastatingly efficient power puncher that can hurt you with both hands to the head and body, and stalks his prey relentlessly. Beyond the obvious title implications, this fight has the attention of fans for a number of reasons. Even though Triple G has fought 5 of his last 7 fights in the U.S., all of those fights have taken place in the Northeast. This will be Golovkin's first fight on the West Coast.
Last 4 years I'm living in Big Bear Lake, California. I have coach, Abel Sanchez, from California. I have a lot of friends from California. This is my first fight. It's very important for me.
We made New York a home for 4 or 5 fights. We'd like to make Los Angeles a home for 4 or 5 fights and then go from there. But the response that we're getting in LA for this fight signifies that maybe we may not be getting out of LA for a while.
It's a very great fight for me. This is my dream.
In in Los Angeles, a city rich in Mexican heritage. One could assume that Rubio, from Mexico, would benefit from the energy of the crowd. The fight has even been named Mexican style.
Mexican style, oh, I love this style, this is my style. Special thank you for my coach, Ebo Sanchez, because I work with a lot of great champions from Mexico.
Gennady, from the first day he stepped into this gym, I try to pattern his style towards the great Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. I showed him a video of Rosario fighting Chavez Sr. Gosh, I don't know, in the 80s, I guess it was. And I told him that I could pattern his style after that, and the difference would be that he could punch, and he was going to be knocking guys out with a body shot. And the Mexican style was something that we coined 4 years ago.
Golovkin, who now claims Southern California as his home, has embraced the more aggressive Mexican style of fighting since he began training with Abel. And in return, the Mexican fan base has followed him.
I love my Mexican fans because I have a lot of Mexican friends, I like drama fight, I like just natural fight. I like big show. This is my Mexican style.
But despite a successful year in the ring, 2014 has been a difficult one for Golovkin. On February 18th, Golovkin's father died at the age of 68 after suffering a sudden heart attack a mere 17 days after his 10th title defense, a 7th-round TKO against Asumanu Adama. Golovkin was due to headline an HBO card at Madison Square Garden in April, but pulled out of the date to travel to Kazakhstan to be with his mother. It was a difficult time. After a ritual 40-day mourning period spent in Kazakhstan and Germany, Golovkin returned stateside, fit but unfocused.
Once those 2 or 3 days were over, prior to the last fight, he became Gennady again. Went back to work, and I think dedicated himself to the memory of his father, and just working hard to make sure that he did everything that needed to be done to make him proud.
Then, a highly anticipated pay-per-view matchup with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the son of the man who inspired Triple G's Mexican style, was shelved after months of negotiations. The fight figured to elevate Golovkin to superstar status, but was derailed when Chavez turned down a reportedly guaranteed $7 million purse. Instead, Golovkin was scheduled to fight Daniel Geale in July in his Madison Square Garden Big Room debut. Geale, a former 2-time middleweight champion, was billed as his toughest opponent yet, and under the watchful eye of Abel Sanchez and his fraternal twin brother Maxim, part of his team since 2010, it was time to get back to work.
Geale is a very accomplished fighter. Geale is a 2-time world champion with only 1 loss on his record, which is a disputed loss, and I saw the fight and I believe he won. So to me, he's an undefeated fighter with a lot of 12-round experience, which is one thing that we don't have in the Golovkin camp. Our fights, fortunately, have ended early, and he has that experience that he's looking to use and take us into, as he puts it, into deep waters.
He's a good fighter. I know him. He's ex-champion. He has 2 belts before. He's great champions.
Once again, Golovkin's power was on display as he sent Geale to the canvas with a vicious right hand in the 3rd round for his 11th title defense. The God of War was back. Can Triple G avoid a letdown for historic title defense number 12? In an era where fighting 2 times a year seems the norm for some champions, and others avoiding the ring altogether. This will be Golovkin's 8th fight in just over 2 years. Will it be an advantage, or will Triple G eventually wear down?
He wants to fight 4 times a year. He wants to take a month off between fights and then schedule the next one, which for us is great because we don't lose continuity. I think that he keeps what he developed in the previous training camp, and it just adds to the next one.
2 months before fight, my focus just fight. Not for dancing, not for nightclub, not for vacation, just fight. It's very important for me.
This camp has actually turned out to be one of the better camps just because we're past that tragedy that happened to Gennady in February of this year. So he's more focused, he seems to be more animated and wants to work even harder than he's worked before.
Yeah, I have lost my sparring 8 rounds, every 2 rounds different guys. I have 4 or 5 sparring partners. It's great work, just not easy work, just hard work every day.
A 12th successful defense against Rubio would tie Golovkin with Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Felix Sturm for the third most in middleweight history.
Right now, my focus just for my career. I feel my power, I feel my time. Just right now I feel it's great.
Team Triple G is intensely focused on the hard-punching Rubio, but it's impossible to ignore the opportunities that are emerging on the horizon. One of the biggest draws in the fight game, WBC middleweight champion Miguel Cotto has been ordered by the WBC to fight the winner of Golovkin-Rubio or vacate his title. Cotto will likely fight Saul Canelo Alvarez first, setting the stage for a possible fall 2015 showdown with Golovkin.
He's getting to the point now where the casual fan is beginning to notice him. The hardcore fan knows him because of what he's doing in the ring. But I think it's going to take one significant fight, one of the bigger names to sign a contract, step through the ropes and get knocked out like the rest of them didn't get knocked out. And then he's for real to the casual fan. If that happens, that's the kind of fight that we need to make him that megastar.
Is Cotto a distraction? Or could he be the mainstream opponent that takes Triple G to the next level of stardom? It's too early to speculate on future opponents. Gennady Triple G Golovkin still has one more week of training camp and Marco Antonio Rubio waiting with plans of his own.